Not every.
No.
So
No.
and you know, because Meta is such a wonderful organization, we can't get them taken down. And TikTok, I am not just going to have a go at Meta here. It's TikTok as well. I'm very interested in what happened to your Senate this afternoon, so I'm going to be going through that as well.
Yeah, Sophie's been kind of keeping us updated on that, which is it is very interesting, and it is about one of Sophie's topics that she's talking about all the time, which is sextortion.
Yeah,
and especially teen sextortion, because it ends so badly, and so many suicides over this.
Sophie's shift on Instagram seems to be that time. She seems to be there over the time we get most of the young ones. And she's just said to me there, you know, she said, they are the same age. Hi,
Yeah,
Sophie.
Hi, Sophie.
my grandchildren, talking about you, Sophie. You know, they're the same age as my grandchildren. And, you know, it's the same for me. You've got younger grandchildren, but they'll come up. They're coming up to the danger of this. Now, if I can say how bad Meta's got, there are pages which we showed you before, and I've highlighted on, you know, the gaslighting videos, where young boys are openly plying their trade, openly boasting about what they're doing, openly selling the format, selling the scripts, openly selling the Facebook and Instagram accounts to do this from.
Yeah, I mean, they have a group that, yeah, again, hi, Sophie. We are talking about you. I'm sure your ears were burning.
I think so, must have been.
But they do have a group that Sophie has been really sending us updates from, and it's the blackmail format group.
And we know the sextortion format is available on that group.
Yes, it is.
And we know that they say between themselves, what, you know, say things like, I will make you suffer, I will make you wish you'd never been born, I will make you, you know, we will tell everybody. And, you know, that is openly available on Facebook.
It is. It's a public group. Any of us can go in and look at it at any time. And it is very serious. And Sophie is saying, yes, it's a very dangerous group. It is.
And you know, the worst thing is, Sandy and Sophie, is because they've got no fear of being caught, no fear of being stopped, no fear of anything. They can say this all out loud and they're laughing about it.
Oh, yeah. I saw one guy on there. He had 3 laptops, several phones, you know, big screen TV behind him.
He had 3 MacBook laptops on his with the phones, showing what he did on the night in his hotel room. And that is all open and available on Meta. And if you search Yahoo Boys, you will get a warning from Meta saying, are you really sure you want to go through with this? Because that is associated with fraud, and fraud's not allowed on Facebook. So you can, yes. And you get another one. In all, you get 3 warnings. Do you really want to go and find out about Yahoo Boys? Yes. So it takes you then to a massive amount of Yahoo Boys groups and pages. So it tells you that it's fraud. It tells you you really shouldn't go there. Oh, but go on, we'll let you if you want to, because it's all there.
Right. I mean, you know, if Meta is warning you when you type in that search,
yes,
you would think that would be something they would not want published on their site.
Yeah,
but
it is associated with fraud. Now, they very nicely tell you, that will take you to another page saying, report any fraud that you see, and this is how to report it. Well, we know how well that goes, don't we?
Yeah,
we know you report anything to Meta, and what do you get? It doesn't go against our standards.
Yeah, the standard response, it does not go against community standards.
And
what do? You just shake your head because you can't do anything else.
And in the meantime, we have got people every day coming to us because they've been victims of scams, and also the current thing that every victim does is contact the man in the pictures.
Why? I mean, I know some feel that they are doing a public service by contacting the person and letting them know. But, you know, I was watching Jeff Dunham with Peanut, and he does this thing that says they know, and they do.
Yes, you could do with that. Can we not change one of us into an act? They know, and I had a lovely lady. She's coming on with me on Monday night, and she contacted Dustin, and she kept wanting, and she inundated him with emails, and she kept wanting to tell him all about her scam over and over again. And in the end, I talked to Dustin and her, but they don't need to know what would the advantage be of Dustin knowing all about the scam and the aftermath of it.
There's really no advantage at all.
I don't see the reason, because let's face it, Sandy, I mean, these guys can't get every story of every victim that's been in every scam.
And we have noticed that we have some of the photo victims are nice at first, and they will try to talk to you and say, you know, it wasn't me, you are being scammed. And some will even video call with them to prove it. But after hearing it hundreds and thousands of times, they're tired. They are so over it.
I had to smile. Hi, Caesar. I had to smile on the live chat that you had the other night, and he said, "Oh, I'll always help all the victims." And I thought, what have I done for? You know, because it's lovely at the start. I mean, there's Caesar. You couldn't need to meet more gentleman than Caesar. But you know, it gets a bit awful when Caesar stood next to his wife talking to her, and she gets a call to say, your husband's, you know, like engaged to me, or whatever he gets, because they get them all. And so it seems to me that Meta is a company which is totally out of control because it's got nobody controlling it. And that piece of information needs to go to the Senate because that's important.
Right. And I mean, you're talking about, I think it's Section 230. Yeah. It was created in 1994 or 96. Yeah. When the internet first started out, saying that internet companies were not liable for what goes on their platform.
But I think wasn't Section 230 before there were any platforms anyway? I mean, it was just like sites then, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, a chat app, ICQ. I mean, that is old.
Yeah.
And, you know, you've got mail.
Oh, I know that. Yeah.
And dial-up internet. They had to sit and wait for forever. And then I don't think they thought it would explode like it has now.
I mean, I can remember when we've all first got sort of like proper internet when it wasn't dial-up. Because I remember sitting there going with the dial-up, and it took ages to get through. And then you were just doing something and it kicked you out.
Either that or somebody called your phone and you had to get off the internet to answer the phone.
Yeah. You know, so things have moved, but things moved on very, very quickly. And one of the things that moved on went in a completely different direction because you had the social media companies. So let's take Meta, because we really like Meta. We're such a fan of Marky Baby.
Yeah.
So let's take Meta. So they came on and they invented Facebook. And then I think somebody else, he took over Instagram, didn't he, from somebody else?
Yeah.
But anyway, so they've got Facebook. And then he decided he wanted to rule the world, so he had Instagram. And they just did it. And it wasn't as if it was important enough people call him baby face, but I think he's more of a pancake face myself. Oh, moon face. I mean, does the man ever shave, or has he pulled each hair out separately? You know, it was like, oh, this is good. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. But with not enough safeguards in the back to look after people.
Right. And, I was reading just today, Meta has spent billions of dollars to come up with human AI, human, they're supposed to be so human that, AI. Why do we not come up with AI that is going to take these accounts down?
Tonight. Thank you, Misty. I haven't got my usual light. I'm going to have to remember not to have my usual light because Misty got peachy. Yeah, sorry, Sandy. I was admiring what Misty was saying.
Well, of course, I was stopping to say that too. But, again, he's not spending money. Actually, he wants to be competitive on the AI market. That's understandable. Yes. But why not take the safeguards or money to make safeguards to protect victims, to protect these crimes from happening in the first place?
The money that he's getting to do his silly little AI games and his meta headsets and his meta glasses, things like that. And I just wonder how these, AI glasses are going to work, because I would never be able to drive in looking at me AI glasses. But he's so hell-bent on these glasses. It amazes me how a post-time mate gets taken. Oh, yes, we could go on about that all night. But a scammer cannot be shut down. I can think all accounts should be verified. I agree. I totally agree. Every account should have to have ID. And no account should be transferable, because we get lots of accounts where you would have, facebook.com/temutop.olawally. And then you look at it and it's like Kelvin Morgan, Steve Joe. And they might have missed that it was a female, she has updated her Facebook account, but it's
right.
Why do you need to, I once said this to a Facebook development department. Oh no, it wasn't. It was the Facebook user experience department, which was more of an experience for me, I think, than and I said, but why do you need to be able to transfer an account? Because they're free. So if you want a Facebook account, you make one because it's free. Why do you need to change it over?
I mean, the only time you would need to have any type of change is if you passed away and you had somebody set aside to shut your account down if this happened. That is the only thing that I think you would need it for.
Yeah. And it is just keeping the door open to fraud. And I cannot understand why you can go in there and you can search on Austin Scott Miller and there are thousands. Eric Todd Hill and there are thousands. Thusum to Sumvas, and I can't say that, but it's Turkish. But it's a massive, massive, huge financial. It's a 419 scam. It's a Nigerian advance fee fraud scam. And there's hundreds of them. Fusum Tum Savas. That's it.
Well, you've got Publishers Clearinghouse and all of the lottery winning pages.
Sandy, there's some Facebook lottery.
Oh, I know. Oh, and it even has a Photoshop photo of Mark Zuckerberg holding up a sign that says this is a legit Facebook lottery.
And in the job thing, they'll have Facebook lottery, and Facebook never seen it. Well, that doesn't really give me a lot of faith in the rest of what they do. But we get people every day, and I mean every day, who come to us that have been the victims of scams. Now they come to us on Google, they come to us on email, they come to us on Facebook, on Instagram, and they come to Joe on TikTok. They have been victims of scams. Yeah, Sophie, type in any general's name. And hey, Sophie, aren't we good about generals now? Who would have thought that a bunch of old ladies would know so much about American generals? Because I would never have done.
We've learned a lot, haven't we?
We have. We have. You know, when I first, it'll take me 1 minute to tell you this. When I first started doing this, and you know, bringing in all the women who decided to volunteer with me, sort of like released my life really. But when I first started doing this, I used to have recurring dreams, and I would walk into a room, and I used to have a Wii Fit at the time. You know, one of those games that you used to play things on, and on the Wii Fit there was a room, and all the little avatar things used to wander around, and I used to walk into a room, and there was Steve Kaufman and Austin Scott Miller and all the people that we used, all the men that we used in scams, sort of like walking around this room, and I still have that vision in my head. And all these years on, it's the same people. Had an argument with someone who told me that all accounts with @ are not fake. Well, Misty, thank you for arguing about it. Tried to explain. She told you were flat out wrong. She was flat out wrong. Whoever would have invented these username accounts is mad.
I honestly think they come out of the office in Nigeria. I mean, that's just my opinion.
I'm very sorry about that. I really am sorry about that. You know, I wish they would get nothing. If we could get to the point where nobody sent any money for anything, it would stop all scams because they'd all have to give in.
Right.
There has to be an agenda on the username scam. The username scam, for those who don't know about it, you can get an account, and you can look at all your accounts, because we can. I've got a Jemima Puddle Duck one.
Yeah, and I've got one too.
Yeah, yeah. Yours has got. What's your the one?
Oh, I can't remember.
It's a good one.
Mrs. Butthurtfly.
That's right, Mrs. Butthurtfly. Yeah, we all made them. We all made really silly names with them. But what it is, on every Facebook account, you can go into your account and you can make up to 6 extra accounts. Friend request from Keanu Reeves. Oh, bless. Isn't that kind of him? Do you know what? Keanu Reeves must be watching our lives.
He must be.
But no, let's get back to the username accounts. And it tells you, you do not need to use your, hello Paula, we do not need to use your real name on the username account. It will have an @ sign in front of it, and it will be given a username. So it would be @jemima.puddleduck. I've got 2023 on the end of mine. You know, it's just it is telling you you do not have to use your real name. Now, Facebook all the time, it's been a bit silly, but all the time has said you must use your own name. Now they're saying, no, you don't have to. You don't even have to tell anybody it's you if you don't want to. You can pretend to be anybody you want to be. But not only that, because it's attached to your main profile, it can't be reported.
Right.
The easy scam account from Meta.
So yes, they are all fake accounts. Whether they are scamming or not, that's a different story. Because Jemima Puddle Duck's not scamming, and Miss Butthurtfly is not scamming either.
No, we were just making a point.
Right. And I think a couple of us have a few of those accounts, and the reasoning behind them was like you could make one and have all of it for music interests, make another one for cooking interests, and just the various interests. But why not follow them all on your account?
Well, it says you can join interest groups without anybody knowing who you are, but what's the point in that? I mean, why go on the grandma page, if you don't want anybody to know that you're a grandma, you know, I'm just trying to see if I can get any examples of it, because sure, Ruth gets loads of them. And it's wrong.
It is.
What Meta are doing, I'm making it easier to make fake accounts. Not harder, not asking for ID, not asking for anything. They are making it easier to make fake accounts. And it is very, very wrong.
And the scammers are taking full advantage of this because, you know, they can have their, you know, Ottawali Kelvin account and tie 6 of these @username accounts to it, but you would never guess that they are tied to Ottawali Kelvin because he can have many different names. He can have Austin Scott Miller, General, you know, Eric T. Hill. They can have whatever they want on those accounts.
So your scammer needs to make one main account, or even do it from his Ollawally Temito account, and he can have 6 extra. So you either make one and you have 7, or you can use your own account and have 6 extra fake ones. There is no justification at all for even inventing that. So, you know, let's say to Meta, you're a fool.
Well, and I'll tell people right up front, the private group that we have for, you know, the learning / support group, we will not even let any @username accounts in there, not at all. So if you're going to come and join our group, you have to use your profile.
Yeah, you do, because it's shouting it loud. It is absolutely shouting it loud that it's fake. Oh, look, I've got David. David lives in Los Angeles, California. He's got 2 different faces. I'm sorry for contacting. No, I'm sorry for saying hello. I'm David, and nice meeting you here.
Air Force Native, if you use your email address in order to sign up for Facebook, then yeah, it would be, you know, 6 extra accounts tied to that, you know, main Facebook account you have your email address attached to. If you use your phone number, it's going to be, you know, 6 extra tied to your phone number. So just however you join Facebook. Does that make sense?
Right. So I'm trying to find you something that I can like show. Now, you're going to get it backwards because I'm not clever enough to be able to turn it around for you. But at the top of the Facebook account, it's got this.
Right.
Bill Grant at billgrant.50766. If you look at the original notice from Facebook, it tells you it will allocate you a username because you do not have to use your real name. And with the @ in front, it is telling you that is not the real name of the person. I rest my case, my lord.
And those accounts, when people report accounts to us, we just don't even take them. There's no use in even taking them because no matter how many times somebody reports them, they are not going to go down.
Because if you think about the algorithms of Facebook, part of the algorithm is based on using a fake name. But when you've made this account, you are stating it is not your name. It is a fake name. So they just missed by the algorithm.
Right.
So one thing we said we wanted to talk about was contacting the real men and blaming the real men, Sandy.
Which is getting ridiculous. And even the real women, because we've had that too.
And I
but,
just
you know, mostly.
Say, Celtic, everybody else has been really nice. If anybody wants to contact us on Facebook messages or on Instagram messages, there is somebody available to talk to you. Sorry, Sandy,
No, that's fine.
Up there. I just thought.
Fine. But talking about, you know, contacting the real person and blaming the real person.
Yeah.
Seeing a video call where somebody moves and their mouth moves, but no sound or there's technical difficulties and it's for 5 seconds. that is not proof that the real person in the photo is the scammer.
And 95% of the ones we get will say, but I saw him on video call. That's why I thought he was real, because I saw him. So we'll say to them, what did you talk about? Well, actually, it was bad reception and we couldn't really talk. So it was only like 5-10 seconds, but it was him. It was the man in the pictures. I saw him move. There is a big difference between seeing him move and talking to him.
And as Sophie's good for saying, if you are blaming the real person in the photo, you are not learning about romance scams.
Because it's going to happen again. Right. If you don't learn what is behind a romance scam, so if you do not learn who has contacted you and who has done this to you, and basically who carries out romance scams, it is going to happen again. Because what's going to happen is you might have, let's take Dustin. You might have responded to Dustin Cap's pictures and you're blaming him because it's his fault. So when Cesar Camacho pictures contacts you, you're going to accept him because you've been blaming Dustin. It is not the man in the pictures that is doing the scam. They are being used. Okay, Gaylene. See you later.
Right. And actually contacting the real person and telling them, yes, it was you, and I can prove it, and I'm going to turn you into the FBI or the police or whatever, law enforcement. It's not doing you any good, and it's not doing them any good. You're harassing them and following their accounts and making comments all over their accounts, cyber stalking, harassing. You're going to get banned.
If you were nice enough to fall for a scam, and I mean that sincerely, because in a scam, you were nice enough to care about that person enough to fall for the entire scam and to send money. So somewhere underneath, you are a nice person. If then you go and start to harass and abuse the person whose pictures you are using, who was used on you, it puts you down, because it doesn't reflect badly on him, it reflects badly on you.
Yes, it does. And we hate to say it, but every time it's those little darlings in West Africa.
Yeah. And I like the fact that this is now being said more and more, because there was a time we couldn't mention them.
Right.
But even the guys who are putting out the videos, they will say there are Nigerian scammers out there who are using my pictures, who are doing this. There was something in the Senate today, something in the American Senate today about impersonation and sextortion. And the senator who was talking about it said Nigerian scammers contacted a young man. They abused him so badly, he took his own life. But what to me I liked was the fact that senator said Nigerian scammers, because they skirted around, because we can't talk about the little darlings.
No, we can't, because we're prejudiced if we do.
We're racist if we do. How many times have we been called racist?
Right.
Well, we're not.
Right. I don't care if they're purple, they're criminals.
It seems to me that if there were a group of young men who were native to Carolina, North Carolina, I don't think there is one, North Carolina or Alabama, they were native to Las Vegas, that would be all right talking about them.
Right.
But they're native to Nigeria and West Africa. They're native to Ghana. They're native to Cote d'Ivoire. They're native to Nigeria. You go and stalk the Nigerian pages, especially on Twitter. Oh, I tell you what, you can learn a lot on Twitter.
Yes, you can.
I hate Twitter. But I'm now following the EFCC and the Nigerian pages, and it's mind-blowing, actually. But it is finally coming out who is doing this. Jen, I've got a theory about that. I've got an opinion, if you like. And you know me and my opinions. I'm never very quiet on not giving my opinions. So you have got 10%. They're either from Ghana, Cote d'Ivoire, Cameroon, or they have tentacles across the world. A few of them are in America. We'll go. China is something completely different, but there's scam as well. But it's a different kind of scam. But we've got a situation where people are blamed for being a scam victim. Now, can you imagine if a load of bank robbers went into a bank and they drilled underneath the bank and they robbed the bank of $6 million? It would be all over the page. Oh, look, this is it. These bank robbers robbed this bank. Can you imagine if you have somebody who is walking down the street at 4 o'clock in the afternoon and somebody jumps on her and rapes her? Who are you going to blame? The woman for walking down the street at 4 o'clock in the afternoon? You have a scam victim who has been contacted online, who has been controlled and brainwashed, and the treatment of victims is total. It's morning, noon, and night. It is getting into their heads. It is getting into their minds.
Yeah. Sleep deprivation is one of their tools
yes,
of the brainwashing.
They love to call at 3 o'clock in the morning. Mm-hmm. But you get to the end of this crime and they say, well, that was stupid, wasn't it? Who would? You watch Dr. Phil. You watch any of the programs that have got victims on there. It's a different thing, Jane, but yeah, they've got friends everywhere. You've got the victim, and it's the victim's fault for being stupid. So somebody walks down the street at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, is raped. What is the victim's fault? The bank is robbed by a load of bank robbers. What is the bank's fault? Are we so far down in society that we do not blame the perpetrators of the crime?
Oh heavens, no, we can't blame them because they get offended. Sorry.
We have to blame the victim. But yeah, they do get offended, which is quite hilarious sometimes.
Yeah. So they don't like the word victim either. It's client. You are not a victim, you are a client. They don't like victim.
And they turn everything round so that they're not guilty. Do you know that Nigeria is the richest of the African countries? Do you know that Nigeria has the biggest and most expensive boutiques in the world? In Africa, sorry, that part of the world. They've got the most expensive Rolex shops. They've got the most expensive designer outlets. I wonder why.
I don't know. Oh, I was reading they had a car sales place that was like 6 floors of fancy cars.
Yeah.
The expensive ones that, you know, we can all drool over but would never be able to afford.
Let's face it, if you had a car dealership in Nigeria, I'd put them on 6 floors because they'd probably steal them from the bottom floor.
That's true.
So where are the jobs? Misty, you look on Google and put jobs in Nigeria. There are jobs. There are jobs. There are jobs in hotels. There are buses. Do you know what? There are people who do jobs driving buses. There are people who do jobs driving trains. There are people who do jobs, well, everything that you've got in America, you've got there. But what they don't like is the fact that it's quite low paid. Because, I mean, let's face it, if you are a bus driver in England or America, are you really well paid?
Mm, it's above minimum wage, and
Yeah.
yeah,
So why not scam top it up a bit? They require people to apply. That's exactly the point. Because they don't want to apply. And a lot of them, if you notice what they say, they will say there are no good jobs
right.
in America. Misty, you have been reading the wrong articles. I'm sorry. I don't usually disagree with Misty, but you're wrong, basically. You're wrong. They scam because they're greedy. They can make
That,
the average wage, I think, is $700 a month. And you see, the thing is, Air Force, I don't know your name. I'm sorry, but you're Air Force, which is a bit sad because I'm Navy, or I was Navy. They they have these jobs. So why, you know? And of course, it helps with the police if you've got a job, because if you're a porter in a hotel, or you know, that's fine. You can get away with that, but they've got a lot of money, you know. But you've got a job anyway. But they often like to say, they often like to say that they've topped it up with fancy cars and gold.
oh, those big gold chains are just so tacky.
They are tacky, aren't they? In fact, I mean, they are so tacky. They look fake, but they're not fake. You know, and it's just, we've done a lot of research into this, Air Force and the others. I mean, it's not. I will tell you, and Sophie will tell you this. She's on scrolling up. And Sandy, we don't spout rubbish without having a look at it. We have done a lot of research into that country.
Yeah, we all research every day.
Yeah. And we know what happens. We know what they do. We know why they do it. Stop the EFCC. I mean, they're so sick of me. It's just, that is the country. Do you know, my son used to, I know this is a story I often tell. My son used to work in Ethiopia. And Seabird, are you aware they have a password? Alea. And they say it between each other to find out what level you are. Yeah. But do you know, Linda, they actually think we don't know that word. Because if you say something back to them when they first contact you, they'll come back with you with Alea. And then they're quite surprised when you actually know what it is. You know, they actually think you're Nigerian as well, which is quite hilarious. Because they're stupid, basically. It's a very insular country, so they hate everybody from the outside. My son lived in Ethiopia. I've not been to Nigeria. I don't think I could set foot in the place.
I don't think so.
I have been to Nigeria. I've been to Ethiopia several times. I spent about 6 months in all in Ethiopia, so you get to know somewhere. And my son was there for 4 years, so you do get to know the place and the people. And the poverty in Ethiopia is 10 times worse than the poverty in Nigeria. They don't scam in Ethiopia.
Mm-mm.
They will do anything to get it work there.
Yes, they have used slavery as an excuse in the past.
Yeah,
but
it's good. Gee,
yeah,
it's great having an argument with them about slavery.
but how can they use that as an excuse now when they're scamming anybody that will respond?
But Gina, they scam black women.
Yes.
We get a lot of women coming to us who are black who have been scammed. They use black men. They use Edward Bryan. They use Earl Nicholson. They use Camille Mabry. They use a lot of black servicemen. Surely they're brothers. They're not people to use. You know? I mean, Sandy and I wanted to talk about all sorts earlier, and we haven't. But basically, It's sad that you have been involved in a scam. But stand back and think about it. Please. Don't contact the men that are used. Because and why accuse them? Because it's absolutely impossible that there are the people that have been doing this to you. Hi, Joe. I mean, how can you blame Steve Kaufman when there are 10,976 fake Steve Kaufmans? He must be good.
He'd have to be on social media constantly if he was using all of those profiles. And then there would still be not enough time in the day.
I have a lady who doesn't like me. I know that's unusual. I have a list, I have a long queue of them that doesn't like me, but I've got one who particularly doesn't like me. Who's the Barry Bull victim? Barry Bull is in a relationship with a woman who's actually 50 years old. Now, if Jessica's 50, I want to know who her plastic surgeon is. Because Jessica...
Exactly.
Yeah. So actually, Jessica's about 30. How's this for a good one? Barry has called his new daughter Midnight because that's the name of the strip club that Jessica used to work in. Jessica's not an ex-stripper, not a current stripper. She's not anything. And the baby's not called Midnight. Who would call a baby Midnight after a strip club?
Well, and she doesn't like the way Jessica dresses either. She's so immodest.
No, I mean, because do you know what? Jessica's pretty gorgeous. So that immediately sets up resentment. It is obvious that I am madly in love with Barry Bull.
Oh.
And I want him.
All for yourself?
Oh, I know. Now, I've had this direct to me, so I know this is, I know this is all true. I can't get into the mind of somebody who would think this.
No.
Barry is very open what he does. Steve Kaufman is very open what he does. Tyler is very open with what he does. And, it's mental, the stories that go around about these guys.
Yeah, it really is. Some of the stories are so outrageous, and which again brings us to another topic. During the scams, the outrageous stories that we hear. Of course, yes. We all know the tree one.
Yes, we do. We do love the tree one. But how about when he's on the way to the airport? And do you know what happens? He doesn't, you go to the airport to meet him because he's been on the way to the airport. Because let's face it, ladies, you've paid for the flight tickets. And he's on to the airport. And you know what happens? He gets ambushed and kidnapped.
Oh, no.
He knows. And they're such nasty, nasty kidnappers. They really are.
Oh, they're so nasty. They're leaving their phone.
Yeah. Oh, he's oil rig. I love the oil rig broke one. I live in an oil rig town, so we know everything about oil rigs in my town. and I love the oil rig broke. But I can't explain it to everybody, but I do like that one. But yes, he's been ambushed and kidnapped. But he can still ask the woman he's never met for some money. And
of course,
I had one the other day that she paid the money and then let him go. And so he went to the airport and said, look, this has happened to me. I've been ambushed and I couldn't get on the plane. So can you get me on another plane? And they said, oh, sorry, that ticket's out of date now. You'll have to pay for it again. So she did. Think. We have to get people into thinking.
My favorite thing to use is if your best friend was telling you this story, what would you say to them? What would you tell them?
So maybe tell the story to yourself. If you don't want to tell your best friend, tell the story to yourself. Because when you tell the story, then you will see how ridiculous, and it is ridiculous, I'm sorry. And I get that you're in the scam. I get that you're in the relationship. I get that you bought a new frock. You look beautiful. You've had everything waxed. I'm not saying which everything you've had waxed, but you've had everything waxed. And he's coming home to you. I get it. And then he's suddenly kidnapped. Can you imagine? Now, the Dustin one, he was a civilian engineer working for the army, and they deployed him. And he got ambushed on the way to the airport. Can you imagine how that would be in all the news around the world?
It would be. As soon as his family was contacted, it would be released, his name. They would release it on the news, but they wouldn't release his name until his family's contacted, just like they did with the recent...
Yeah, the deaths.
Yes.
Oh, we suffered with that. We really did. It was two young ladies and a 40-something gentleman. Got arrested on the way to the airport, called from the prison where there was chickens in the back. Oh, yes, Linda, there's often chickens.
Well,
and the crocodile.
There has to be chickens. They got to feed the prisoners with them.
It's when they're doing something and they're very, very serious, and all you can hear in the background is cock-a-doodle-doo. You know. Yeah, Jeannie, you're right. I don't know how we break the hold. I don't know how we break the hold of the scammer so that the red flags are not seen.
Yeah.
Whatever point you are in the scam, you can be well into it. You can be a long way into it. But if he calls you from prison and there's chickens in the background, you know, I did a live chat. I did a live call with one of them. And he was telling me all sorts of things about this oil rig, you know. And there was chickens in the background. So I said to him, have you gone to feed the chickens? He says, oh, no, we use them for food. And I'm thinking, I've never seen an oil rig with chickens walking around that they're going to use for food for the men. But, you know.
The storm would blow them away.
Exactly. I mean, can you imagine all that drill going down and all that oil everywhere and the little chickens picking around the deck of the oil rig? I mean, you know. But what happens is people are so involved in the scam that they accept it.
And they have tunnel vision.
Yeah.
They see the pictures, they see the stories, but they don't pay attention to what is going on outside of what they're being told.
No, they think it's something different. It's, oh my God, he's been ambushed. Oh my God, he's been kidnapped. You know, Chris, Boggy Wash entertaining me.
Well, and I know I had one that it was a family I spoke with. They were worried about their mom, and her love had actually got in an accident and was in a hospital in Canada. But of course, you know, he wouldn't say. Her family offered to drive her to Canada to go, you know, see him, meet with him, and they said no. But they did want money for the medical bills.
Yeah, funny that, isn't it? Misty, we used to have a lovely oil rig man called Sebastian, and we were going to do something with him. And then I don't know what happened to Sebastian. He sort of like he got tired of being used. I think he went off. Because what Sebastian used to like to do was take pictures of the sunset of the oil rig, of the sunrise off the oil rig, and things like this. And of course, they were all stolen. And so he never came back to us. And then, of course, there was Luke Dutton.
Yeah.
So no, we haven't. We've had somebody come to us who gave us a nice long description of what happened. And as I say, I live in an oil rig town. It's just what we do here. We don't build them anymore, but when oil rigs need repairing, and they do, they come to my town and they get all sort of like refurbished and then sent out again. You often look over the sea and there's an oil rig going past. Really weird sight, but it's not an unusual sight here. So, you know, a lot of the men who are in my town work on oil rigs. We know what happens.
Well, and think about it too. If an oil rig blew up somewhere in the world, it wouldn't matter where, it would be on the news. I mean, the world is a public place and everything is open to the news. So if an oil rig blew up, it would be on the news.
They're on, Michelle, but it's getting them through to people.
Mm-hmm. I
did a live chat with Becky Holmes, who's done Keanu Reeves is Not in Love with Me. And basically, she used to sort of complain that she got lots of Keanu Reeves and things like that on Twitter, and it developed into a book from that. I've got one in there called Scammed in America, and it was one of our ladies and she wrote a book. But it's like programs and shows and things like that on scammers. It's not really, hi Richard, nice to see you. I haven't seen you for a while. Maybe another live chat. I love doing a live chat with Richard. Yeah, so, you know. Oh, Linda, go and answer your door. Could be anybody. It could be, but it'll be real. So you better. So what we do want to say is come to us or send people to us. If you want to know anything, if you just want to talk, come to us. I had a lady yesterday who came to me, the one that's going to come on Monday. I've got a lady in Wales I've got to call as well. If you just want to talk, that's what we do. We will video chat just to listen. We have joined up with AVAH Romance Scam Prevention, and it's an outreach group. You can find it. They've got an excellent website, which I'll put on our pages. AVAH. The AVAH Outreach Group is an all-volunteer victim outreach group that provides certified assistance to victims of scams. We offer free victim advocacy to anyone who has been scammed, and they've kindly no, I don't either, Gina. That's why I leave it to Joe, because I don't like it at all. AVH has kindly asked us to be a partner.
Yeah, there's a few places that are in partnership with them, and one that we can match is, Kathy Karen's group, Advocates Against Romance Scams. So she's part of it too, and her group's really, really good. And it's nice. It's nice that these people are reaching out to us and recognizing what we do and what we have. Now, we will never say to you we are qualified counsellors, because we're not. And we will never say that. Do you need to be qualified? I'll put something on, Michelle. AVH. I'll actually put something on our Facebook page, because Sandy and Mel and Sophie run an absolutely excellent group called Shoot for You. SHU, the number 4 and the letter U. And that's on Facebook. And that is for education, so you don't get into the scam again. Right.
And it's for support, because it's a place where you can go and you can talk about anything, because the people in that group have been there, done that, got the t-shirt, and are not going to judge you.
There's over 4,000 people in there that are in various stages of healing after their scams, but they're also learning how not to become a victim again. We want them to become a survivor and learn how to stand alone and proud.
And they say things like, they'll come to us, that we'll not hear from them for months. And then they'll say, oh, look, I know this sounds stupid. I know it really does. But I miss him. He was a big part of my life for a long time. I miss him. There is nowhere else in life that they can confess that. But they put that in our group and somebody says, oh, I feel exactly the same way. And that is priceless. There is no judgment. There is no, oh, well, that must be very stupid doing that. There is no judgment. It is just people who knows exactly how a victim feels. Now, that's good. It's...
We're going to get cut off any second here.
Actually, they don't cut us off, but they don't keep it. Yeah. So I'll put the groups on, but they're run by Sandy's the main admin. She's got Mel and Sophie. Sophie's main admin as well. Do you live close to the London Palladium? I live about as far away as you can get, because Engelbert's at the London Palladium.
Oh,
Misty, we can maybe arrange something. I really don't like Engelbert Humperdinck, but Misty, I'd go with you. So let's talk about it. September. Let's have a ladies' weekend. Misty is a big Engelbert Humperdinck fan. Now, if it was Brian, I can be there in a flash.
Oh, yes, in a flash.
I live up near Newcastle, Misty. About as far away as you can get from London, really. Yeah. If I drive a couple of hours north, I'm in Scotland. So that is how far away I am from London. But yeah. So please come to us. Just please come to us. Grey Fox Town, you sound interesting. Just come to us. We can help you. Yeah, I'm going to look into that, Anne Maria. I really do. I'm not speaking to you, Jojo, because Jojo actually my Brian is from, and she knows where he lives and she knows him from like way back. So that's not fair, is it?
No.
It's not. And then Brian put a thing out today. He's all very excited about going to Japan. That's no good to me.
No, it's not. That's even further away.
It is, isn't it? I'm never going to meet him if he goes to Japan. Yeah. So, yeah, Misty, I'm quite interested in going to see Engelbert with you in September. I don't know why, really.
You probably just need time away from this.
Yeah, I think so. So Sandy and I will be back next week. I've got a couple. No, Pinda's come to say hello. I've got a couple coming up. We're going to try and get some more. We try and get some more men for Sandy to talk to, and victims for Sandy to talk to, and me to talk to. So if you want to talk about your scam, it is always well received.
Yes.
When we get victims coming on to talk about their scam, it is always well received. So if you want to do it, come to us and we'll arrange something. We'll have to find a sugar daddy. Well, oh yeah.
Oh, those are easy to find. They're all over Instagram.
All over the place. You just got to pay them $100 to get registered with them. But, they're all right. Yeah. That's it. Scammers are rich. We're not. Yeah, we've got to chuckle every now and again, because if we don't, this actually doing this every day could drive you mad. So I'm going to go so that I can save our chat. Thank you to everybody that's been in it, and we look forward to it again. But if anybody wants to chat with us publicly, please come to us, because it helps other people.
It does,
and that's what we do. We help other people. So good night, everybody, and I'll see you in 2 minutes on the group, Sandy.
all right. Good night.
Good night now. Bye.